Seeing is the most effective way to generate the leads, and then we're going to get into pre-qualifying and the appointment. But what's working for you guys?
So right now the biggest thing is
Welcome to the Wholesaling Inc. podcast, America's #1 podcast for new real estate investors, where we know that finding discounted properties is the most proven path to financial freedom. I am your host, Brent Daniels, and I am telling you, if I can do it, so can you. So let's get started. I am so excited for this podcast because I've got in the TTP podcast studio the host of one of the biggest podcasts out there, the Real Estate Disruptors podcast, where this guy here interviews the top real estate professionals from around the country. I want to bring the warmest and the hottest welcome to Steve Trang. Steve, say hello.
Hey everyone, thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited. I've been looking forward to this for a very, very long time.
This is exciting, and I think we're going to flip the script a bit because usually you're used to like really digging into people and really breaking down and seeing how they do their business. But not only that, but how do they keep the mindset? How do they keep the strengths? And I think for this podcast, we discussed it before we went live, is let's bring the most important tips that you've learned from these top interviews, from your own business, from being in Phoenix and being around all of us crazy people.
Oh, yeah.
Like, what are the top things that people need to be aware of in 2020? So let's start there. Let's start with like just foundationally mindset, right?
Mindset.
What is the mindset of the people that you have coming in and interviewing with you?
So I think there's a certain amount of tenacity, right? There's this grit we talked about persistence, and these are people that just don't take no for an answer, right?
Yeah.
You watch the movie Pursuit of Happiness, you talk about, you heard a lot last week, like Mamba mentality. Like, these guys don't know when to quit, they can't understand no.
Yeah.
So when they've said, I'm going to do this, it's gonna happen. There's none of that like, Brent, man, I really hope this wholesaling thing works for me.
Right.
I really want to quit my job.
Yeah.
No, it's like, I'm doing this and the world is on notice, like either you can like me, you can hate me, but you won't ignore me.
Got it.
And I think that's that mindset it takes to really dominate.
I love it. Well, we talk about on this podcast, there's a huge difference between wanting to do wholesaling and it must happen.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you want to do it, you're going to do a couple deals here and there. It's going to be inconsistent. Things are going to come in. Your job's going to come in. Your schedule's going to pop in. It's going to distract you. But the people that must, like, I must not have a 9-to-5 job. I must not be average. I must not have, $1,000 in my savings account.
Right.
Those are the people that are really exploding, whether it be in the TTP program, whether it be in the Wholesaling Inc., whether it just be in the general, real estate industry.
Yeah.
You see those people and they just, it's interesting. You wonder if they were born like that or if this is something that they've adopted,
Well, I look at it in, I'm going to confess for your listeners that I don't have a six-pack.
Okay.
I know that they're probably shocked, right? And so I've said for the longest time, like, most people want to become successful, like, I want a six-pack.
Right.
Man, that'd be pretty cool.
That'd be sweet.
Right, if I had a six-pack.
Yeah.
But am I going to say no? Right? Because there's always special occasions.
Right.
And like Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Ate terrible last night.
Right.
But that's the kind of are you willing to make the sacrifice? So the other thing I was talking to actually someone this morning about the give-up list.
Yeah.
It's not like, what am I willing to do to be successful? What am I willing to give up?
Yeah.
So, like, crazy story, right? I'm a big nerd, right? I've been playing fantasy football. This year was year 20.
Oh my gosh.
Right? I've been playing it forever. And I told my friends, like, hey guys, you know what? This year I'm out. And they said no. Like the freaking Crips, right? Like, you can't leave.
Right.
So I was like, okay, fine. So I still signed on, paid my money, and then I delegated my fantasy team to somebody else. And I legit did not watch a single football game until last night. The whole year. Yeah. So I gave up football so I can pursue my dreams and my passions.
Got it. And you think it's just these little things, the little tweaks that you give up. What did you call it? The give up list?
The give up list.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Right.
Well, that really hits home, especially when you're looking at your schedule, right? Especially when you're looking at everything that you've got going on. what are you really wasting time doing? You know, it's like, you know, Gary Vaynerchuk type of thing where he's like, all right, go and hustle from 6 to like 2 in the morning or whatever. You know what I mean? Hustle afterwards type of thing. But I mean, it's really interesting when you look at how much time we actually have. I always break this down. We have 168 hours in a week. How much are you willing to commit to your real estate business to change your life?
Exactly.
Is it 10 hours? Can you find 10 hours? Yeah, you can find 10 hours. And then it's getting the focus, and then it's having a community behind you, and then it's not feeling like you're on an island, and feeling like you have some support there. And I think that's what a lot of people get out of private groups. A lot of people get that through YouTube or social media group.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, and if you look at E.T. the hip hop preacher, right? He talks about like if you want to be as successful, or you want to be rich as much as you want oxygen to breathe, right? So. And the study was like, or example was you have to be at the beach at 5 a.m. So Pace and I, we call it the Wholesale Run Club. We run at 5:30 a.m. Monday, Wednesday, Friday in Gilbert. We post about it on social media. You would think if you really want to be successful in wholesale, you would find a way to get to the park because we're posting where we're running.
Yeah.
You think you would find a way.
And you're inviting people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think you would find a way to get there.
Yeah.
I would.
Yeah.
When I was young, I would find a way to get there. But like I said, most people want to be successful. Like I want a six-pack.
Yeah, got it. Give us something tactical. Give us something. We had talked about it a little bit, and I think that this is really, really important. That 2014 to 2019, it was about getting the right information and just getting in front of the seller. Yeah, it's changed.
It's changed. So back when I started, buying properties in 2012, right? We've talked about this before. It was me and Sean Terry. Right, Sean Terry, pay-per-click. He was number one, and I would bid what I needed to be number two.
Right.
Right. I didn't want to spend more than number one.
Right.
Right. And so at that time, I go, and I was a terrible salesperson. I was like, all right, Brent, your house is worth 150. I could pay 115. You want to do it?
Right.
And I would buy deals that way.
Sure.
It's terrible, right? But now, that wouldn't work. That won't fly. So right now, if you were to pull up any neighborhood, you could very easily with Batch, right? Find all the red houses that are distressed that need a cash offer.
Right.
And then very easily get their phone number, even their email, right?
Yeah.
And you could call them, text them, and send them ringless voicemails.
Yeah.
So the challenge today is not how to get the homeowner, how to find the distressed houses. That is the easy part now. So now that everyone's chasing the same guy, we're all using the same list, pretty much using the same service provider. How do you get the homeowner to pick you to be one of the 6 or 7 that they'll even meet with? And then from that 6 or 7, how do you get them to pick you to be the guy?
Right.
That's where the game is won or lost today.
Well, and I think that when you're saying that, something really interesting is playing around in my head. I really think I am seeing, and this is just from our business, I am seeing a lot more success when we're actually going on the appointments and getting face-to-face.
Yeah.
And actually having a presentation and actually, like building real face-to-face rapport, where before we could have sent the contract DocuSign, told them we're ready to go, they sign it, and we're open escrow now.
Yeah.
Now you send the DocuSign, it's like you're like waiting, and waiting,
and it says open.
Yeah,
open.
They've seen it.
It's viewed,
but they haven't signed.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So how important do you think it is to get to the appointments, and how do people do that if they're in like a virtual market? If they're virtually wholesaling.
So I think it's tough, right? And it goes back and I go back and forth to this because I believe wholeheartedly you got to get face to face.
Yep.
But then we locked up 3 deals virtually in Tucson last week.
Right.
So it's like, all right. But I still believe that it's important to get face to face because, again, the deals are won and lost on a fine edge. And if you can meet someone face to face, you can shake their hand, you can look them in the eye. I'm a very big believer in that.
Yep.
As far as how do you get them to pick you, you got to manage expectations. You got to set the ground rules, what Max likes to call the rules of engagement. Yeah. Right? Like when we meet, we're meeting, and it's either going to be I'm buying this house or I'm not buying this house, and that's it. You're not allowed to think about it. You're not allowed to call Sister Susie. You're not allowed to call Uncle. Right? Like, this is it. We're here to buy a house today.
How do you set that up?
So
I mean, there's got to be some advanced agreements, right? Upfront agreements that you go through,
exactly,
so that they're primed to make a decision during this time, right?
Right, for sure. So the first thing is, say, Brent, thank you for inviting me into your home, right? A lot of the homeowners that we've met with, they're curious as to what this process looks like, how much they expect to walk away with, and when they can get their money. Am I missing anything? Nope. And obviously for me, I'm going to ask you some questions some of them may be really personal. Is that going to be all right? And then naturally, at the end of our time together, one of two things is going to happen. We're either going to do business together or not. Either outcome, totally fine, right? If the price we're offering doesn't make sense for you, can you just go ahead and tell me it's going to be a no for you? Likewise, if I'm not sure this is one of the houses we're going to buy, then would you be all right if I told you we're not going to buy your house? And if it does make sense for us to work together, then what we're going to do is just go ahead and put it out in writing what we talked about.
Yeah.
Would that be okay?
Great.
And that's it. And when they get to us, like, remember in the beginning? He's like, no, I need to think about it. Remember in the beginning we talked about, like, it's going to be yes or a no?
Yeah.
And if it's a no, it's okay. Just tell me no.
So why do you think it's so important to get that to not let them have the time to stiff arm you a little bit and to think about it? Or we actually run across this a lot, Steve. Yeah. People will literally say, hey, we need to pray about it. We need to pray about it overnight, make sure it's the right decision, that type of thing. And what we do is during that situation, I'm just interjecting here because this is fun. I love this.
Yeah.
So what we do is we go, okay, listen, sign the contract now. Okay, you agree, you like the price, you like the terms, you like us, right? We always break everything down to price, terms, and you. And you, right? And me, right?
Right.
So that's every deal. Right? Price, terms, and you. It all comes down to that. So we go through that. We get confirmation. Yes, we do like you. We trust you. We're going to do business. Okay, sign the contract. Okay? I'm going to take it. You call me at 8 a.m. And if you want me to tear it up, I'll tear it up. Okay? Right. Not a problem. Right? Yeah. Or they go, no, I don't know if that's the thing. I'll leave it here. I'll show up here tomorrow at 8 a.m. Yeah. If you don't want to do business, if you don't think that this is the best thing for your family, then we'll tear it up on the spot and we'll figure something out. Right? So just a couple techniques, but you go and you want to get them to make the commitment now, or you're going to move on.
Exactly. So there's a couple of reasons why, right? So it's called the campfire effect. So we've been to seminars.
Yep.
Right. We're excited. We're stoked, and man, our business is going to change. This year is going to be the year, right? You're fired up.
Yeah.
And you get in the plane. You're still pretty fired up.
Yeah.
I still feel pretty good.
Yeah.
By the time Monday rolls around, Brent, that was a stupid idea. What are you talking about? Why are you trying to get us to make these changes? And like you have this, you were so fired up, and now you've like completely cooled off. And the same thing happens when you leave the seller, right? Like they're sold on, you got bonding rapport. By Monday, they didn't remember your name.
Yeah.
Like that's just reality, right? Yeah. Like it's human nature. I wish it weren't the case.
So you're saying that's life. Strike while it's hot.
You gotta strike while it's hot. And I'm not saying that we don't get it afterwards.
Sure.
We do. We get deals afterwards.
Yeah.
But if you leave, you're like a 90% no, right? It's not like, I mean, if you looked out the path of your career and all the times you left without the contract, how many you went, it's not a very good percentage.
Right.
Yeah, it's pretty lousy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, listen, I mean, a couple different things there, right? One, you have to have lead generation to have shots at it, right?
Absolutely.
To get to the plate. What are you guys seeing is the most effective way to generate the leads? And then we're going to get into pre-qualifying and the appointment. But what's working for you guys?
So right now the biggest thing is texting.
Yep.
We do a combination of texting and voicemails.
Okay.
And we're always looking at it, right? But right now that's what we're doing, right? So it's an RVM, and if it lands, it says, hey, Brent, I just left you a voicemail, blah, blah, blah. If it doesn't land, hey, Brent, we just tried leaving you a voicemail, it didn't work, and blah, blah, that's our message, right? So we get a lot of callbacks from that.
Okay.
So that's been good.
Where do they
and
go?
Cold calling. So when they call back, it goes to call rail, which goes into our Podio, and our guys just work inside of Podio.
And our guys, you mean acquisition managers, sales guys, that type of thing?
Yeah, our sales guys. Yeah. So we got our virtual assistants setting this all up. We're sending, I think, was it 23 campaigns? So over 10,000 text messages a day.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Well, so what we got to do to compete in Phoenix.
What's a good response rate?
Oh man, our response rates are somewhere between 20 and 30%. But these are not positive responses.
Right.
These are like, yes or who is this?
I hate you.
How'd you? Yeah. They know, they're always mentioning our moms. Like it's just a very interesting conversation, right?
Yeah.
Some people send photos from under the belt.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you get those get filtered out, right? Let's say you send out 10,000. 2,000 to 2,500 come back. Those get filtered based on some, common responses.
Right.
And then you're seeing the ones that seem like there could be potential.
There's something there.
And are you jumping on the phone with them?
So there'll be a text or two,
Yeah.
and then it's a phone call. It's a pickup.
Got it.
Right. Before we were having.
Gotta get them on the phone.
Yeah, we were trying to have longer conversations, and it worked. We had conversations, but I think the more we did it, and the more people are doing it, these people on the other side are way less patient.
Yep.
So you just got to pick up the phone.
Yep.
Talk to people, if you will.
TTP. There it is. There it is. So the you've got the texting. You've got the who are you using for both of these services?
So Max actually has a friend in Mexico that has a call center.
Okay.
And so he's just using her.
Okay.
And they're calling like medical and student debt. So this is actually an improvement.
Yeah.
versus
Yeah.
versus
they
everybody
love doing it for you.
Yeah, it's way better.
So they are. So you've got. Who are you like? What's the platform you're blasting things out with?
Slingshot.
Slingshot.
Yeah.
And then what about voicemails?
Slingshot.
Slingshot. Okay.
Yeah.
I've never. I don't know about Slingshot. So
yeah.
That's so it's been pretty effective for you.
It's been pretty good for us.
Is it reasonably cost? I mean, people are now listening. They're like, oh, okay, Slingshot. So I mean, is it?
I wouldn't say it's the cheapest, right? It's cheaper than Text Magic by far.
Okay.
Right? Which we were using until we broke it. Once we
Right.
got past 1,000 text messages a day, it just. And so we're using Slingshot. You know, I'm hearing that the batch service is cheaper.
Yep.
I don't know. We haven't explored it yet, but it's worked for us. And until something stops working for us, right? Or I hear someone else having like this crazy success.
Yeah.
We're just gonna stay the path because there's more than enough things to constantly tweak in our business.
Okay, so now you've got them to the point. Their timeline, right, is short. They're ready to sign a contract. You've got your acquisition manager that's going to pre-qualify them, see if you're even close. Like, what do you guys use as your indicator of whether or not you go on an appointment?
So we qualify on only one thing, right? I know a lot of people qualify different things.
Yeah.
For us, it's just pain.
Pain.
If there's
motivation.
Pain, if there's motivation, we're coming, right?
Got it.
If there's
even if the house is nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we got guys in our office that are licensed, right?
Sure.
So there's opportunities. There's
do
other
listings.
opportunities.
Yeah. Got it. Yep.
But I mean, I just go back to my days, right? Again, talking about like the pay-per-click days. I would call you. It's like, oh, my house is beautiful, and I'm not in any hurry. And it's a dog crap house, right?
Yeah.
And then we got other ones like, oh, I am super motivated. I'm very reasonable, and they want 30,000 over Zillow. Mm-hmm. So what have I learned? People lie.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So as long as I know there's motivation, we will come.
Got it. How are you pulling the motivation out of them? Are you asking specific questions
when
you're pre-qualifying them so that you understand? Because some people are like, well, why are you selling the house?
Yeah.
You know?
So
like what tactics can they use to implement? And guys, if you're just listening to this, make sure you go to the YouTube channel, Brent Daniels YouTube, or Brent Daniels Real Estate on YouTube, so you can see this live in action. Not live, but in action, and put a face to a voice. But yeah.
So we have, this our whole cold calling script, but in the middle of it is, hey Brent, I'm just curious, what is it about what's happening right now? You think about selling your house today? Okay. It's like, is this call the first time or is it something else? And if it's called the first time, then it's like it's a dead lead. Right. But we're here, it's like, oh, this is going on, and as well, tell me more about that. Mm-hmm. And how long has that been going on? Mm-hmm. What have you tried to do about it? Right. So similar questions, but. And we're going through. We're trying to develop pain.
So say it again, so that people can start. Like, people are going to listen to this, and they're going to implement.
All right,
because we have the most unbelievable audience of people that listen to the podcast and watch it. So what did you say exactly?
So Brent, I'm just curious. What is it that's prompted you to sell your house?
Got it.
It's like blah blah blah. It's not this call that prompted that. No. Okay. So can you tell me more about that? And they'll tell us more about it. Okay. And how long has that been going on?
Got it.
What have you tried to do about it? Mm-hmm. And once they go through that, it's like, then we're kind of and we don't want to dig deep here. We want to save that for the appointment.
Got it.
We just want to know that something's going on.
Sure. And then that's when you're going.
That's when we're going.
Got it. Yeah. Got it. And so I assume you guys are going on appointments all the time.
Not as many as we would like, right?
Well,
because
sure.
a lot of people are like, if the offer's right.
Right.
Okay, well then, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If the offer's right, is a no, and that's it.
Yeah, that's the classic. Like, how much will you give me? For the right price, I'll sell.
Exactly.
Okay, well, what's the right price? You tell me. Okay.
Yeah, it's a waste
of time. Here we go. Like, those never close. You know what I mean? You really got to dig deep into their motivation and find out what is their problem. Because truly, people will trade equity for speed and convenience, but the only time they do that is if there's a problem that you can solve.
100%.
right?
Yep.
So you're saying, listen, just find the problem. This is something that Cody Hoffine talks about all the time on the podcast. I mean, they're the masters of it in Salt Lake for sure. Is just finding out what the problem is, getting in front of them, and seeing if you can get the price and terms ironed out.
Exactly.
I love it.
Yep.
I love it. What else? So let me hit you with this. I really think because this whole podcast is about things to do in 2020. So first of all, you got to have that must. It must work. You can't just want this. Not now in 2020. This has to be a must. That's number one. Number two is you need to go on these appointments. And you need to go on these appointments more than ever. They need to be pre-qualified, and you need to understand what their problem is.
Right.
What the motivation is.
Yep.
I'm going to throw out 3. I think that if you are not out there door knocking pre-foreclosures, you are leaving hundreds of thousands of dollars on the table.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why. You and I both are around Pace Morby every single day. He's in this office. He's literally in here now. I'm telling you, 2 to 3 deals a week from door knocking. He's got a whole team of door knockers, but he started with himself. Whole team, you get in front of these people because they're not answering their phones typically. They're not responding to texts typically because they're really stressed out.
Yeah.
Not only that, but they're getting bombarded, right?
Well,
So
it's really easy to hide.
Yeah.
Right? Because everyone's calling them. They're on everybody's list. Pre-foreclosure, right? Every time you're new, you're on the list, right? So anytime you're new to wholesaling, pre-foreclosure is on your list. So now you're on everybody's list, but odds are you're probably not only behind your mortgage. You might be behind your car, utilities, whatever, or maybe you borrowed money from your aunt to get caught up, right? Who knows who's calling you?
Yeah.
So you're hiding, you're under the covers, and the only way to get in front of that person is knocking on their door.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's amazing. I mean, people are answering, or you leave like a little leave behind there with a little note, trying to get them to have some sort of communication with you.
Right.
But I think it's huge. And I think, guys, it's not just for getting wholesale deals, which, trust me, there's plenty of pre-foreclosures that have equity. But the ones that don't, you can lock them up on terms. You can lock them up as a subject to or whatever, and you can sell those. You can actually wholesale those to people that are building their rental portfolios that can't get any more loans because they got too many loans in their credit. So that's deep dive. I don't get into it. I do wholesale deals. Right?
Yeah.
I do big wholesale deals.
But we have a friend that's having a lot of success with it.
Right.
So you guys should definitely be checking that out.
So I think that is something that people need to go after in 2020. What else do we got?
Oh, man, I think, so for me, I can't say for 2020, but you just got to get better. So I think listening to podcasts like this is huge. We've talked about it before. I've spent over $250,000 in personal development. So you can't win if you're not the best version of you possible.
Right. I love it.
You've got to keep getting better.
Investing in yourself, investing in getting better, not just in real estate, but just as an entrepreneur.
Right.
Right?
Well, and then also something that we've had the benefit of is like you're upgrading your circle.
Yep.
So I've seen it. I'm telling you, just from the last few days. We've had the benefit of having this great circle, right?
Yep.
We're blessed, but there are other people that I've talked to, who they're just guilty by association.
Sure.
Like they want to, they're reaching out to me, whatever. And it's like, I kind of see who you're hanging out with. I'm not sure.
Oh, it works both ways for
sure.
Yep.
So if you're not careful about who's in your circle, it can help you. It can also drag you down.
Yep.
And you got to be very careful of who you allow yourself to be surrounded with.
I love it.
Yeah, it affects your brain.
Yep.
It affects your mindset. It affects your heart, right?
It could affect your morals.
Yeah,
really?
Exactly. Yeah.
I've seen it. I've seen people literally teach people how to wait to the last moment of a transaction and try to get a dramatic price drop.
Yeah.
Or they're not going to close it. The homeowners have already moved. They've already got a lease somewhere else. They've got it all, everything's tied up.
They've got a non-refundable deposit somewhere.
Of course.
Yeah.
And then they're just putting the pressure on them because they know that they're in a tough spot.
Right.
And I'm telling you, that does not last.
No.
And you can't be around those type of people. You got to be around the people that are truly out there trying to make a difference in the community.
So I think, so protecting your circle, I think, and upgrading your circle, really huge.
Well, you interviewed the top guys from around the country, so it must be pretty easy for you.
Well, it's easy now,
Yeah.
right? But for you guys that don't know, I think you were number 8.
Yeah.
Right? And so, you gave me the push. I told you my vision. Hey,
Yeah.
Brent, I'm going to have this podcast. Everyone's going to fly in from across the country. And you're like, and everyone else is like, you're crazy.
Yeah.
You're crazy, right?
Yeah.
But you're like, do it.
Yeah.
Hold the line.
Yep.
And so like a couple of times I thought about giving up. And I'm in my mind, in the back right here, like Brent's like, hold the line, hold the line.
Yeah.
And it's made a tremendous difference.
Yeah,
obviously.
Well, and you have. Let's talk about your goal, your big goal, your big 100 millionaires. Talk to me about that.
Well, you know, one of the books that I first read was Think and Grow Rich.
Yep.
Incredible book. And in there was some journalist that asked Andrew Carnegie, you know, like, you have 18 millionaires that work for you. Like, how's that even possible? In a time where 1930s was not a prosperous time.
No.
How do you have these 18 millionaires working for you? And he said, you're asking the question the wrong way, right? These people weren't millionaires until they worked for me.
Got it.
And that was something for me, like that and Zig Ziglar's. You can have anything in life that you want so long as you help enough people get what they want.
Yep.
And so I think just those two things have always, you know, been in my head.
Yeah.
And so when and I always said for when I started the brokerage, I want to create 18 millionaires. And I think we were well on our way. But once I had a podcast, like with the reach we have, there's no reason why we don't create 100.
Yep.
And honestly, I think I'll probably be closer to 1,000 by the time we're done.
Oh yeah.
But that's the mission, right? If we can help people.
It's incredible.
And it doesn't.
And you've seen your business
skyrocket.
Skyrocket.
Yeah. The opportunities that have been available to me were not available until I started the podcast.
Yep.
Right? And it's the go-giver. I can't remember if it's number 2 or number 3, but you know, the amount of money that you make is directly proportional to the number of people you help.
Yep.
It's not even like a little bit related.
Yep.
Directly proportional.
Yep.
It's crazy.
The law of compensation.
Law of compensation.
Number 2.
Yeah.
Love it. Okay, so I asked this question, and people really like it.
Yeah.
Okay. I give you $500. I drop you in the middle of nowhere. Okay. How do you get your first deal?
Man, $500, middle of nowhere. I would probably go find a title company, get a free list.
Okay.
Right. Get the pre-foreclosures.
Okay.
And I would probably just start door knocking. You know, and I haven't done a lot of door knocking.
Yeah.
But I feel pretty comfortable if all I have is $500 to my name.
Yep.
It's gonna freaking happen.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Like working at McDonald's is not an option.
How do you find a buyer for it? Okay, let's say you went that far. Let's say you got the list. Let's say you door knocked. Say you still have $450 on whatever. How do you find a buyer for that? Knowing what you know now, interviewing all the great people that have built the biggest cash buyer databases of all time. How do you sell that deal?
So social media is such a powerful weapon that's free.
Okay.
Right? So whatever city I'm in, I go on that Facebook group, right? I can have a brand new profile. Facebook group of all the community, right? Every wholesaling community has a Facebook group or 5.
Yep.
Right?
Fix and flip groups, real estate investor groups, wholesaling. Yep.
So I'm posting in those groups. You can Google who the top wholesalers are, and probably some of those are gonna be fluff.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
But you'll find one of them, and you can DM them.
Yep.
That's free. And it doesn't have to be like, hey, can you move this deal? It's a matter of fact, I got this property, it's worth this, here's what's going on, here's what I'm looking for it. And if you're brand new, then you better lock it up real deep so it's a no-brainer.
Right.
Right?
Yep.
Probably put a Zillow link in there, even though we don't care for Zillow.
Right.
If you're brand new, at least something to validate your numbers versus these, you know, little out of the reach ARVs.
Yeah. Well, and I say get a Dropbox account, right?
Yeah.
Make sure you put your pictures in there, or a Google Drive or something that's shareable, so that people can see the accurate photos of it now. And then you got to look for a cash buyer that's going to actually put down an earnest deposit, a non-refundable earnest deposit. Because I see, you know, this happened to me the first couple times that I really wanted to wholesale, is people committed to the deal, but I didn't realize that they just wanted me to assign it to them so that they could find a buyer.
So they can shop it.
So they could shop it.
Yeah.
And they didn't put their earnest in. Now, I mean, we don't even send the assignment until that earnest is like at the title company.
Yeah.
Non-refundable, $5,000 minimum every time. That's going to show you who's real. That's going to show you, right?
It's going to be pretty hard though when you're brand new.
Sure.
Right, to pull that. I think you should definitely get there.
Yeah.
And another thing too, right? If you're in Arizona, if you're in Texas.
But why is it harder? I think it's the same. I think if they literally follow that instruction, the only reason it's hard is because they think in their mind that the buyer's going to be mad if I ask for all of these things, or they're going to think I'm new, or they're going to think that I don't know what I'm doing.
That's true. That's true. Very true. Right?
Yeah.
It's just head garbage.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. Just stick with it. Make sure people are actually going to commit with funds. And now you've got a cash buyer that you know you can rely on.
Right.
And then build the relationship, build it up.
And there's another place you can post the properties too, right? You got OfferFast, my app, right? So it's free in Arizona, it's free in Texas, and we're going to be in Georgia and Florida in the next month.
Talk about it.
So what we created, as I'm a wholesaler, my cousin Wayne's a flipper, and one of the frustrations, you get all these emails about these properties where it seems like if you get it and it's a good deal, if you try calling it, the guy never answers.
Right.
You reply back, no response.
Right.
Right. Or you saw it like in the afternoon, 3 hours later, it's gone. Right. So what we created it so that we can consolidate all the wholesalers in one place and create an MLS. So that if someone's got like I want to buy something in A5018 and only A5018, then you get a push notification.
Awesome.
Based off your saved search.
How many people are in it?
In Phoenix, we got about 1,000.
Okay.
Texas, I think we're about 300 people.
Okay.
And then
build it up, people. Build it up. Join OfferFast,
Yeah.
and then that way people can just start selling their deals quicker.
It's free, and we're doing deals in there.
if you're looking to buy them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're doing deals in there. So I think it's an untapped resource because when we post it in there, it's selling. So I think people are missing out on that opportunity.
Love it. What states?
Right now we're in Arizona and Texas.
Okay.
And next month we'll be in Georgia and Florida.
Beautiful. The whole state. Awesome.
Yep.
Steve, how does it feel? How does it feel to be on the other side of this?
Feels great. I love it. I love it.
Much.
It's a different conversation.
So let's recap here. Must versus want. You must. You have to. The top people. They must win.
No is not an option.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Love it. 2 is make sure that you are pre-qualifying, going on strong appointments, making sure that they sign while you're there.
Yeah, you have to have really good sales. Because one of the things that we didn't talk about enough, or I didn't really get a chance to expand upon, is like if you watch those movies, right, where someone's shot, okay, and like they're trying to get the bullet, right, it sucks already. It's painful.
Yeah.
And then you get your buddy in there like digging in it, try to get the bullet out.
Yeah.
That's what we do at the appointment, right? Like you're hurting, we're gonna find out where it really hurts. And that's part of the ways we're able to compel them to work with us.
And hurt them to heal them.
Exactly.
Right. So increase sales skills,
Yep.
understand the sales process, understand pre-qualifying, go on the appointment with some intention.
Absolutely.
Right? 3 is door knock pre-foreclosures. 4 is expand your circle, but also watch the negative influences.
Protect your circle. Yeah. Actually, you and I were talking about this last week, right? Like if you're negative on Facebook, I unfollow you.
Yeah.
I don't have time for you to bring my energy down. My energy, I've got to protect it. It's so important.
Yeah.
I can't have people whining.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Steve, thank you so much for being on the
Thank
podcast. Everybody out there, if you are interested in joining the most proactive group in real estate investing, it is the TTP family. It is the TTP program. Go to wholesalinginc.com/TTP, wholesalinginc.com/TTP. Scroll down, check out what it's about. Check out all the testimonials. You're going to have to scroll for a while. If it feels good in your gut, sign up for a call. I look forward to working with you personally. Guys, thank you, Steve, again.
Thank you.
Thank you for being on here. Everybody out there listening and watching, I encourage you, as always, to talk to people. See you guys.